Fury. Nick motherfucking Fury.
Nick Fury, mother.
International super spy, director of S.H.I.E.L.D., the man who formed the Avengers, the guy that shot a rocket launcher at a jet carrying a nuke and not only stopped it taking off but managed to hit it without doing an Oppenheimer. Nick Fury is a legend both in the comics and in the MCU. He's been consistently awesome in every appearance, thanks to always having some cold lines channeled through the effortlessly cool Samuel L. Jackson.
I'm about 5 seconds from complicating that wall with some ugly-ass squirrel brain. Out with the platinum bastard.
You need to keep both eyes open.
A lot of guys think that, till the pain starts.
Bitch, please, you've been to space.
This party's over.
Even when I'm out, I'm in.
Jackson has a knack for making pretty standard lines of dialogue feel like sassy one-liners. He simply makes the frame more entertaining whenever he's in it, and he's not in it nearly enough, to be honest.
Guy's multiplying faster than a Catholic rabbit.
Before we got just about every actor in Hollywood in on the MCU, including the likes of Ethan Hawke, Angelina Jolie and Harrison Ford? What the fuck? Samuel L. Jackson was the franchise's biggest established star, and he was the glue that held that all-important first phase together. From knocking on Iron Man's door to unfreezing Cap in the modern day, Phase 1 carefully teased us with more Nick Fury until he took a sizable role in the Avengers. I don't think he gets enough credit for driving so much of that movie, and there's no doubt in my mind the movie would not have been such a successful story without good old Nicholas J.
They needed the push.
The character has been utilised very well in some movies and less so in others, and he all but vanished for a huge stretch of the MCU in its most pivotal moment. Now it looks like Fury is truly back in a big way, and as I go through all of his highs and lows, I'm going to pinpoint exactly what I'd love to see from the character for the twilight years of his reign in the MCU.
You have made me very desperate. You might not be glad that you did.
But before I talk about Nick Fury in greater detail, I want to talk about today's very much related sponsor in Marvel Strike Force, an action-packed RPG that lets you assemble. With a Marvel game, it's all about the roster, isn't it? Which heroes and villains are available, Governor? Thankfully, Marvel Strike Force has a plethora of characters from the Marvel Pantheon. You can create your own Marvel team-ups by combining any of the available heroes and villains you want. Marvel Strike Force provides you with engrossing turn-based combat that evokes all the powers and iconic moves from all of the universe's toughest mainstays. My boy Wolverine, of course, gets to unleash a devastating flurry of adamantium flavoured moves. Mwah. You can pair up the Berserker Mutant with other X-Men or the Avengers, 2 teams old Wolvie has been a part of, but you could even make him the 5th new member of the classic Fantastic Four, or even a Guardian of the Galaxy. Let me know in the comments who your ideal 5-person Strike Force squad would be. New players can unlock Nebula, Miss Marvel, and America Chavez for free just by logging into the game. Check out the link in my description to download Marvel Strike Force today. If you don't have the Amazon App Store yet, make sure to download that first, as Amazon App Store is a great way to save money while getting your hands on some amazing games. Of course, the roots behind the MCU iteration of Nick Fury began all the way back in 2002 with the Ultimate Comics redesign. Brian Hitch drew him less Hasselhoff and more Jules. The likeness is uncanny, and Fury even states that he would love it if Samuel L. Jackson played him in a movie. As fate would have it, Samuel L. Jackson agreed to shoot a very brief cameo as a favour to Kevin Feige on the set of the first Iron Man.
I'm here to talk to you about the Avenger Initiative.
Comic book writer Brian Michael Bendis was actually tasked with writing this scene, and in an interview with Inverse, he explained how that haphazardly went down. My memory is, write everything you can think of. As delightful as that sounds, I stayed up all night. This was like a writer's puzzle. I wrote a couple of pages down. I wrote every serious thing you can think of and every dumb thing you can think of. I got a call from Kevin who said, Samuel Jackson is showing up tomorrow to do a favour. He's just showing up and we're going to wing it.
Stark, you become part of a bigger universe. You just don't know it yet.
Fury made references to mutants and radioactive spiders, which is insane to think about.
As if gamma accidents, radioactive bug bites, and assorted mutants weren't enough.
Lots of things in the MCU became stakes in the ground, and they built out from there, but this was the stage where the cinematic universe was the most malleable.
Well, what are we avenging?
Whatever the hell we want.
If those lines had been kept in, the questions surrounding which characters were in the MCU would have gone crazy. We would have acknowledged the presence of Spider-Man and the X-Men almost a decade before they factored in.
Sir, I'm going to have to ask you to exit the donut.
From there, Fury played a bit of a bigger role in Iron Man 2. Although the allusions to the Avengers detracted from the movie, Fury was still awesome, and this movie promised more of what could come down the road for the character.
I've been hearing about the New Mexico situation.
He made single-scene appearances in both Thor and the First Avenger, the former in a post-credit scene and the latter in the film's ending moment.
You've been asleep, Cap, for almost 70 years.
Both scenes mechanically established points for the Avengers, but I think more importantly, they just really tied everything together in a legitimate way. Having a big film star like Samuel L. Jackson popping up and saying, "I am S.H.I.E.L.D., here's the Tesseract, here's Cap unfrozen, here's Tony Stark, here's an allusion to Thor," it's all folding in. It really helped to sell the hype and made the Avengers movie feel like a real promise.
Remember, I got my eye on you.
It's easy to look at the MCU now and think it was all written in the stars, but back in 2011 it seemed ludicrous and unlikely. Nick Fury, and to a lesser extent Coulson, really managed to make it all feel cohesive even at its worst. And I don't think that gets praised enough. And then, after several solo movies, we got to 2012's The Avengers. And here we start the goated age of Nick Fury. Now we're really cooking with the gas on. This runs from The Avengers to Captain America the Winter Soldier. He's peak Fury in both movies, with a sizable role in each. As I said, I think Nick Fury carries a lot of this movie, particularly in the first 40 minutes. The Avengers are all great, but Nick is out in at the start when Loki arrives and basically heads up that opening.
An ant has no quarrel with a boot.
You planning to step on us? Keep on stepping.
I said in my Star-Lord Gore video that I love a confrontation between characters with a huge superpower disparity, and this is another good example of that. In spite of Loki being a god with bulletproof skin, in spite of the fact that Fury has no feasible way of attacking him, the director stands there and faces him head on. He even almost tricks Loki into being buried, and he would have gotten away with it too if it wasn't for that pesky archer.
He means to bury us.
Like the pharaohs of old.
Nick having the face-off with Loki at the start and in the prison scene is some of my favourite hero-villain interaction in the MCU, and I'm really honestly sad we never got to see Fury in the same room as Ultron or Thanos. He's so awesome, he doesn't need to fight anyone. I just want to see those bad guys pissing their pants looking into Fury's eye. Thanos would be getting tied into knots faster than you can say baby Thanos. I also love the "ant has no quarrel with a boot" callback. Fury kinda owns Loki here.
You get how that works? Ant. Boot.
Jackson has chemistry with every member of the team, even the ones that he meets in this movie with no prior relationship.
What are you asking me to do?
I'm asking, what are you prepared to do?
This is basically the first time we get him as a character and not a plot device. Before, the appearances were carried by Jackson, but here he gets some great writing to work with that really shows more dimension to him.
Guess he never did get you to sign them.
Staining Coulson's cards to push the Avengers into action is really quite dark, and is some of the most interesting moments of Fury in the whole franchise.
They were in Coulson's locker, not in his jacket.
They needed the push.
We hear a lot about his secrets having secrets, but this is one we're actively in on, and it works.
We have an unauthorized departure from base.
He successfully galvanises the Avengers with a little bit of theatricality, but it's really pretty immoral to use your old friend's blood to stain some of his most prized possessions to get there. Ouch.
There was an idea to bring together a group of remarkable people to fight the battles that we never could.
This movie is also where Fury says the iconic "there was an idea" line, which has gone on to be one of the most memorable lines in the whole MCU. Would it be without Jackson there to deliver it? I'm not so sure.
It's an old-fashioned notion.
In Winter Soldier, Nick is absolutely goated. Goated with the sauce, baby.
Nobody spills the secrets because nobody knows them all.
Except you.
He might not get as many killer lines or face-offs with maniacal villainous gods in this one, but for the first time in the franchise, he ends up in legitimate danger. Since he's not the title character and a mentor figure, it was feasible that he could be up for the chop at the time. That brought some real tension to his action in Winter Soldier, and it showed just how exciting the character could be. After a plethora of cameos, Winter Soldier showed that Fury could be a lead all his own.
I do share. I'm nice like that.
This is the single best Nick Fury action scene in the franchise, and easily the best car chase in the entire MCU. From the moment Fury gets blocked in and surrounded, it's endlessly thrilling. I love the moment where the car window is getting smashed to bits, seconds away from being compromised, Fury is almost toast.
Offensive measures advised.
Wait!
Fury keeps holding off on countermeasures until the last possible second, but the most opportune moment.
Now!
So freaking sweet. And then we see Fury speed away in a high-octane chase, complete with some nice thrills and spills. Until Nick Fury comes face to face with the Winter Soldier himself. And he even uses a lightsaber to get out of there. The Russos said it should be hard to kill Nick Fury, and this scene perfectly exemplifies that. We never saw him quite like this, and we still haven't since. It's mad that the Russos did this and then the Grey Man, because this scene alone is better than all of the action in that other movie. Fury's death is handled in a way that you could believe this is the end for the character. In spite of my love for him, I do wonder if it would have been the right move to raise the stakes. It doesn't help that even though he remains engaging past this, he never really has as much to do. I feel like the series didn't have a clear path for Fury after forming the Avengers. But I think like Thor, Fury is a survivor, and it's cool that we've gotten to a point where he's outlasted several MCU mainstays like Iron Man, Cap, Widow, Thanos, and the first iteration of the Guardians. Both characters feel right soldiering on. It was the right time to kill him off if they wanted to go there, but continuing on in secret was a potentially great idea. Until... Age of Ultron is where we kick off the Fury Wilderness years. Not only is his role nigh pointless, no, he didn't need to be the guy scrambling a helicarrier, there's a million different ways to write around that. His role feels inessential in a movie trying to cram in too much, and all it really does is undermine the clandestine Black Ops Fury we were promised at the end of Winter Soldier.
Fury, you son of a bitch.
Ooh, you kiss your mother with that mouth?
That movie set up the idea that he was going to be in the shadows for the foreseeable future, presumably making a dramatic return down the road. Fury's return should have marinated a while, and he should have come back with a bang, not a whimper just a year later.
You never even hesitated.
What came afterwards made more sense on Fury's road. Just a 2-year absence would have been a bit premature too, but seeing Nick's take on the Civil War arc would have been a better fit. This is the guy that formed the team. What would he say watching them fall apart like this? Which side would he take? Cap's obviously, but that's besides the point. As it stands, we've never heard a single take from Fury regarding this massive story in the MCU. And then Infinity War. Fury goes back to doing what he does best, a post-credit cameo.
Mother.
Fury could have played a role in Infinity War, but I understand why he didn't. There were so many characters who needed to be serviced there. What I don't like is the fact that he should have had an appearance weighted towards Endgame instead. Ant-Man and Hawkeye were also absent from Thanos' first villainous stint, only to get beefier roles in Endgame. I really think it was a mistake dusting Nick Fury. It would have been awesome to see him on the time heist of the Core 6 Avengers he assembled way back in 2012. The whole point is that we were going back to the original team, right? Fury is like the honorary 7th Avenger to that Core 6. Fury could have helped to keep up morale in the dark 5-year interim and proved instrumental in the effort to undo Thanos' work. Plus, he just would have been really entertaining. I want to see him go to Morag and call Star-Lord a dumb motherfucker. I want to see Nick Fury get one ice-cold one-liner to Thanos. I want to see Fury in one of those quantum suits. Actually, maybe not. White's not really his colour. Well, not since the 90s.
He's black. Go on. He's bald.
Not a bad-looking guy, huh?
Despite being absent in Endgame save for the final funeral scene, a silent cameo, 2019 seemed to be the year of Fury as he appeared in every Marvel Cinematic Universe entry. To mixed results. He was really good in Captain Marvel, a movie I don't really like, and he ended up being kind of underused and weirdly wasted in a much better film, Spider-Man Far From Home. Captain Marvel was just an aggressively bland movie and fumbled one of Marvel's most awesome comic book characters, not to mention giving Brie Larson nothing to work with in her post-Oscar career. But at the very least, the movie forged a fun dynamic between her and a de-aged Nick Fury. The scene where they first meet and chat is really fun, as they both try and weed out whether or not the other is a Skrull.
Belfast, Bucharest, Belgrade, Budapest. I like the bees, I can make them rhyme.
Those de-aging effects in Nick Fury are awesome, and they hold up for the entire movie. It's truly really impressive. Plus, putting a normal human character next to this human atomic bomb certainly helps to keep the stakes at more of an appropriate level.
So let me unravel this puppy with... You sat there and watched me play with tape when all you had to do was...
I didn't want to steal your thunder.
Unlike later on, when Marvel just tears through the bad guys effortlessly for the entire third act before Ronan simply runs away. Yay! Seeing Fury encounter aliens for the first time and learn about a wider Marvel universe almost 2 decades before the events of the Avengers is really neat, and it was a great move to include him. As a prequel, that part works nicely. Where it sucks is, well, you know what's coming.
You guys still in there somewhere? Oh! Mother flirkin'!
It's not even the fact it's a flirkin that gets him, it's that it's just such an undercooked moment that comes tacked on at the end of the finale. It's subversive for the sake of it. It was heavily implied so many times that his injury was the result of something sinister involving a breach of trust. It could have been an amazing moment in a movie of shapeshifters for Fury to trust the wrong person and end up with that iconic eye patch. As it stands, Thor's eye gouging was far more brutal and came in at a far more exciting point in his story.
So simple. Even a blind man could see it.
Bizarrely, Fury takes up a similar role in another Marvel movie released just a few months later. In Far From Home, it was also a great idea to juxtapose Spidey with Fury. We've had the warmer relationship with Stark. Here, Peter gets a tougher mentor in the Super Spy. When he fails, he straight up tells the kid that maybe Stark was wrong and he's not ready.
Stark chose you. He made you an Avenger. The world needs that. Maybe Stark was wrong. Was he?
The kid's tearing up and Nick Fury is like, stuff with those tears, you little bitch, we've got work to do. It's a nice little moment that typifies their relationship in the film. It's just funny to see Nick paired with a teen and find him a little bit exasperating.
Stark said you wouldn't get that because it's not a Star Wars reference. Not yet.
Bonus points for the hilarity of surprise darting Ned.
I had just finished my fruit cobbler, right?
You're Nick Fury.
Mother.
And then we move on to... Wait.
It was fine.
Oh, bullshit!
See, now that's some bullshit.
Fury isn't really in Far From Home, he's in it about as much as he was in Infinity War. As we know, it turns out Fury was being embodied by Skrull Talos, and he was in fact the character who worked alongside Mysterio and Spidey. I don't think this is clever at all, and the reasons behind the decision are baffling. They were basically afraid people would be pissed off that Fury could be fooled by Mysterio, like it would make Mr. Shield incompetent or something. The audience and Spider-Man buy Mysterio's whole deal within the context of the movie. Why wouldn't Fury? All it succeeds in doing is undoing that lovely little dynamic started off with Fury and Spidey. I loved that Fury, the original assembler, was brought in to meet the character who was spearheading the next generation of Marvel heroes. Now next time they meet, it will be like none of this happened, all for the sake of a salacious post-credit scene. What? It was Talos all along? Give me a break.
I'm surprised you didn't just wink in the camera.
What's the best post-Winter Soldier Nick Fury appearance? Wait a minute. What's the best? What?
Say what again? Say what again? I dare you. I double dare you, motherfucker.
That's it. What it? The very best Nick Fury appearance doesn't technically include our version of Nick, but this close approximation does give us an idea of what the S.H.I.E.L.D. director would have done had most of his team got assassinated during his infamous big week. Crafting a whodunit with major superheroes as the victims, centering it on Nick Fury as the lead tasked with tracking down the killer, that's a great premise. I think this best exemplified what if could be. It goes to a darker place than the movies would allow, Game of Thrones in key Avengers one after the other, horrifically and inventively, and it gives the chance for a supporting character to shine. Secret Invasion will get touted as Nick's first solo project, but let's not forget the tightly wound fun that is episode 3 of Marvel's What If.
This was an absolute pleasure.
Director Fury.
Good. Now take your hammer and get off my planet.
A jaded, broken, murderous Hank Pym is the perfect opposition to Nick Fury. Two men who gave S.H.I.E.L.D. everything, but only one of them was rewarded.
You just left out how'd she die the same way her mother did, doing S.H.I.E.L.D's dirty work. She died because S.H.I.E.L.D. killed her. She died because of you.
Pym's grievance with Fury and the organisation is perfectly set up in the story, as is his downfall. In an unexpected move, Fury seems to gain superhuman abilities and bests Hank Pym in a head-on fight, only for it to be revealed that it is in fact Loki. Fury did a deal with the devil and managed to trick Pym into getting his ass handed to him. This does the whole Fury is actually a superpowered imposter way better than in Far From Home. It's just for a key scene, it doesn't undo any relationships established across the movie, it's a surprise that is set up well. It reminds us why Fury is so awesome in a world full of gods and monsters. He's a master tactician, and in this story he plays an individual who vastly outmatches him by using one of his own murders against him. Promising Loki the man who killed his brother, he not only uncovers the killer, but whoops his ass without even lifting a finger. This is the Fury that has been missing for almost a decade. This is exactly the badass kind of Nick Fury I want to see again.
Fury, since you've been gone,
After 4 years, Nick Fury is back with Secret Invasion, continuing on the plot thread started by Captain Marvel regarding the Skrulls, also guesting Talos.
Nick comes back having lost whatever power he had before.
It looks a lot less flashy than the other Marvel Disney Plus shows. A character like Fury likens it to being less superpowers, more guns, car chases and hand-to-hand combat.
We try and solve things without being too superhuman.
Me likey. On the trailer there's this comment from the Canadian lad suggesting this could be like 6 hours of Fury from Winter Soldier. Oh boy, yeah, I hope to God it's that. That would be so freaking awesome. But either way, having a story that leans on Nick's occupation as a spy, coupled with some more grounded action like in his best appearances, not to mention buddying him up with Ben Mendelsohn's brilliant Talos, and this could actually be decent. I just hope it doesn't fall into the Disney Plus streaming curse and it's a bloated 2-hour story stretched across several episodes.
Yeah, well, this is different.
Please don't make me wish this was a movie. I had thought Secret Invasion could be his Logan, and the trailer even made it look like a bit of a last stand.
One last fight.
But he's in the Marvels, so unless this is another Skrull impersonator, he's alive and well.
You going to shoot me? Maybe. Well, probably. But not right now.
Just give me 6 hours of Nick Fury acting like this, complete with car chases like in Winter Soldier, and I'll be a happy bunny. I don't anticipate Fury will have as big a role in the Marvels as he did in the first film, since the focal point isn't the duo in him and Danvers, but a trio in the latter alongside Kamala Khan and Monica Rambeau. It will be interesting to see how the Skrull storyline picks up after his series, although the movie seems to be more focused on the Kree. Still, Fury in space could be fun to see, so let's give it a go. I do love that he now has a sizable supporting role in Iron Man 2, Captain America 2, Spider-Man 2, and now Captain Marvel 2. After those two projects, who knows? Jackson has said previously he doesn't plan to retire from acting, which is awesome, and the role of Fury can be less physically demanding if it needs to be. It's great when we get Fury action, but I'd be happy for him to solve a murder mystery. I think it would be great to give him a final movie a la Black Widow to end his tenure, but before that I think there's a few more team-ups I'd love to see. The one at the top of my list is Cap 2.0. New World Order seems interesting, but I'd honestly love a more stripped-back Sam Wilson adventure with a character like Fury. The S.H.I.E.L.D. director was there for Sam's first foray into the MCU, so it'd be cool to see them together now he's gotten a promotion. Maybe he could be in Mackie's Cap 2 to continue the streak of appearing in a hero's second movie. Either way, I'm just honestly so happy whenever Fury shows up. He is the unsung hero of the MCU. He has chemistry with literally every hero he's ever interacted with, every villain he's ever interacted with too. I don't think the character gets enough praise. He's always consistent, no matter how good or bad the movie is. He's always entertaining, and when he does get his hands dirty, it's some of the best action in the MCU. Nick Fury is always in, even when he's out, and in my opinion, when you look at all of his feats, he's the most underrated character in the entire franchise.
Well, probably.
What do you think? How do you feel about Nick's appearances from Iron Man to the Marvels? Who would you like to see him team up with next? What would you really like to see him do that he hasn't already? Let me know in the comments below. A big thank you to my Full Fat tier patron, Dr. Chike, and Nathan Shaw. If you'd like to donate money to my Patreon, you can find me at patreon.com/fullfatvideos. If you'd like to find me on Instagram, you can find me at full_fat_videos. And if you'd like to find me on Twitter, you can find me at fullfatvideos.